The mockery begins. The stars were quiet, and the galaxy seemed at peace. Yet in the heart of that silence, far above the blue planet Earth, laughter echoed inside the halls of a massive alien flagship. The sound was cruel, sharp, and filled with arrogance. These were not the laughs of friends sharing joy. They were the laughs of conquerors who thought they had already won. The alien empire had seen Earth many times. They scanned it, studied its weak satellites, and judged its broken governments. To them, humans looked small, fragile, and hopelessly divided. Their spaceships were outdated, their defenses almost invisible, and their armies busy fighting each other instead of preparing for enemies beyond the sky. To the aliens, it was almost a joke. Earth, they said, was a planet pretending to be strong while standing naked in the storm. Inside the command chamber, the alien commander, a tall figure with scales that shimmered like steel, spread his claws over a glowing map of Earth. He tapped one long finger on the image of the planet and smiled with sharp teeth. "This," he said to his officers, "is the weakest world we have ever seen. No shields, no great fleets, no sign of power. Only noise and conflict. Their leaders argue. Their people fight among themselves. They do not even realize we are watching. Tell me, what threat can such a world bring to the Empire?" The officers answered with more laughter. Some compared Earth to a child holding a stick, pretending it was a sword. Others said the humans might surrender without a single shot. The commander nodded. In his mind, Earth would be an easy conquest, a quick victory that would prove his strength to the High Council, but not everyone was so certain. At the far side of the chamber stood a younger alien officer, silent while the others mocked. His eyes were fixed on the glowing image of Earth. He had studied human history, their endless wars, their strange ability to rise again after every fall. He remembered reading about cities destroyed, only to be rebuilt stronger. He remembered battles where humans fought on, even when defeat seemed certain. Something about them was not right, not as weak as the commander believed. Still, he said nothing. The laughter was too loud, and the commander's pride was too heavy to challenge. On Earth itself, life moved as usual. People walked under the sun, unaware that above them a powerful empire judged their fate. To the humans, the stars were still distant dreams far beyond reach. Their satellites sent signals, their telescopes searched, but they did not know what was coming. Or perhaps the truth was stranger. Maybe they did know, but they stayed silent for a reason. The alien commander planned the first move. "Send the scouts," he ordered. "Let them see this world up close. Let them bring back proof of weakness. We will take Earth with ease. The Council will praise us for capturing a planet that never learned how to fight beyond its own sky." The scouts left the flagship and descended toward Earth, their ships dark and silent against the night. They expected fear. They expected humans to panic at the sight of alien technology. They expected a helpless planet begging for mercy. What they found was something else. The first scout ship entered the atmosphere and scanned the surface. They passed over vast cities, glowing with lights, rivers of metal and fire moving along highways, towers stretching into the clouds. The aliens looked closer and saw not chaos but order, patterns hidden in the noise. Factories moved without rest. Energy pulsed across wires and waves. Weapons, small compared to alien guns, still lined the Earth in numbers too great to count. "This world is busy," one scout whispered, his voice uneasy. "Too busy." "It is not fear I see. It is preparation." The commander dismissed the report with a wave of his claw. "Preparation? For what? Look closer. They fight themselves, not us. Their guns are old. Their machines are clumsy. Do not be fooled by movement. A rat can run, but it cannot face a lion." Yet the scouts could not shake the feeling. Something about Earth felt different. It did not feel like prey waiting for death. It felt like a predator hiding in plain sight. As the flagship orbited, the younger officer finally spoke. His voice was calm but sharp. "Commander, may I ask a question?" The room fell silent. The commander narrowed his eyes. "Speak." The officer looked again at Earth's image, then back at his leader. "If Earth is truly so weak, why has no other empire conquered it? Why has no one taken this world for themselves? We know of its resources. We know of its location. Yet still it stands alone, untouched, the commander growled. Because it is worthless. No one bothers with dirt. The officer did not argue, but the thought lingered. He remembered a human saying he once read, "Never trust the quiet ones." Down below, in a hidden bunker buried beneath the earth, human eyes were already watching the alien fleet. Screens flickered. Voices whispered. Plans moved quietly through wires and shadows. The world that looked so defenseless was not silent at all. It was listening. It was waiting. The aliens laughed again, certain of victory. But their laughter carried a crack of fear, even if they refused to admit it. For in the silence of space, secrets lived, and humanity's greatest secret was about to wake. First contact, the alien scouts returned from their first sweep of Earth. Their reports were full of numbers, images, and sound recordings. To most of the officers on the flagship, the reports only confirmed what they already believed. Earth was noisy, Earth was crowded, Earth was confused. The commander laughed again, showing his sharp teeth. They build, but they build without purpose. They fight, but they fight without reason. This is not power. This is chaos, and chaos always falls. But the younger officer did not laugh. He studied the reports with careful eyes. He noticed details others ignored. He saw how quickly humans rebuilt broken bridges. He saw how weapons, though old, were placed in positions that looked random, but were actually strategic. He noticed how often humans used the word unity in their speeches, even when they argued in public. To him, it did not feel like chaos. It felt like something else, like practice. The commander ordered the next step. Send them a message. Let us see how these humans respond when they finally meet their betters. The aliens prepared a broadcast, strong enough to cut through every satellite, every radio, every screen on Earth. When they spoke, their voice thundered across the planet in many languages at once. "People of Earth," the voice declared, cold and certain. "You live under the shadow of our empire now. Your world is weak, your armies are broken, your leaders divided. Do not resist. Surrender, and we may let some of you live." For a moment, Earth was quiet. The aliens waited for panic. They waited for screams. They expected leaders to beg for mercy. Instead, the silence stretched on, longer and heavier than they imagined. Then, on their screens, a single human face appeared. A soldier, dressed in a uniform not of one nation, but of many. His voice was steady, calm, almost too calm for someone facing an empire that ruled hundreds of worlds. "This is Earth," he said. "We hear you, and we refuse." The alien officers froze. The commander slammed his claws against the table. "Refuse? Do they not understand? We could crush them in hours." But the human's voice continued, unshaken. "You think we are weak. You think we are divided. That is the story we let the galaxy believe. But hear this now, Earth kneels to no one. If you want to test us, then come. But do not mistake silence for surrender. You will regret it." The broadcast ended. The aliens stared at one another. Some hissed in anger, others in disbelief. The commander snarled. "Arrogant little creatures. They speak like warriors, but their weapons are toys. They bark like predators, but they are prey. We will teach them fear." The younger officer said nothing. He replayed the human's words again in his mind. Silence is not surrender. Why would a weak world speak with such confidence, unless they knew something the aliens did not? The commander ordered the fleet to test Earth's defenses. Small cruisers broke formation and moved toward the planet. From orbit, they fired warning shots, beams of energy that burned holes into the oceans and deserts. The blasts were meant to frighten, not destroy. On Earth, alarms rang. People ran for shelter, yet the soldiers stood their ground. No panic, no surrender. Instead, a strange, quiet strength spread across the planet. Leaders from rival nations suddenly stood together in the same room, speaking with one voice. The alien scans picked up strange signals moving underground, deep below cities and mountains. Systems turned on that had never been recorded before. "Commander," one scout reported nervously, "we detect interference. Their networks are blocking parts of our scans. They are hiding something." "Hiding what?" The commander snapped. "We see no fleets. We see no shields." The report ended in static. One of the cruisers above Earth flickered on the alien screens, then vanished. No explosion, No wreckage. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, erased from the sky. The command chamber fell silent. Officers stared in shock. "What happened?" the commander roared. No one could answer. On Earth, the soldier's voice returned to the broadcast. His eyes were sharp now, unafraid. "You came to test us," he said. "Now you have seen the first truth. Earth is not defenseless. We never were." The commander's claws dug into the table. His laughter was gone. In its place grew anger, but also something he would never admit: fear. The younger officer leaned forward, speaking in a low tone. "Commander, what if Earth's weakness was never real? What if it was a mask? What if they wanted us to come closer?" The commander growled. "Do not speak nonsense. They are only humans." But in his chest his heart beat faster, because somewhere deep inside he felt the same chill. The humans were not acting like prey. They were acting like predators waiting for the right moment to strike. Above Earth, the alien fleet hovered, but for the first time, doubt shadowed their pride. The galaxy had told them humans were small and powerless. Yet here they stood, refusing to bow, erasing ships without a sound. The commander tried to dismiss the fear. He looked down at the glowing image of Earth, claws trembling against the map. "They dare to defy us," he whispered. "Then we will break them. We will see what power they think they have." But in the silence that followed, the younger officer's words echoed again in his mind. What if weakness is only a mask? And somewhere on Earth, beneath layers of rock and steel, something hidden waited, humming with a power the galaxy had never seen. The alien flagship shook with noise as arguments filled the command chamber. Officers shouted over one another, demanding answers for the vanishing cruiser. How could a planet with no fleets, no shields, and no advanced weapons erase a warship so completely? There was no explosion, no debris, nothing. It was as if the ship had been swallowed by the air itself. The commander slammed his claws on the table, silencing the room. His eyes burned with rage. Enough! One ship lost means nothing. Perhaps it was a malfunction. Perhaps their primitive atmosphere interfered. We will send more. We will drown this planet in fire until they crawl to us, begging for mercy. But the younger officer, still standing in the shadows, spoke carefully. "Commander, what if it was not an accident? What if the humans used something we could not see?" The commander turned sharply. "What could they have?" "They have no power compared to us." The officer lowered his voice. "That is what they want you to believe." The commander growled, but he did not answer. In his chest, the fear returned. More cruisers descended toward Earth. This time they flew in formation, their weapons locked on key human cities. From orbit, energy beams cut into the atmosphere like swords of fire. But before they could strike, the sky changed. Across the planet, strange storms appeared, sudden, violent, and impossible to explain. Clouds twisted into black spirals. Lightning cracked in patterns too perfect to be natural. Alien sensors screamed with warnings, but no clear readings appeared. The ships slowed, struggling to push through the storms. Then it happened again. Another cruiser vanished. No explosion, no signal, just gone. Inside the flagship, the officers panicked. One shouted that Earth had cloaking weapons. Another said the planet was alive and feeding on their ships. The commander roared for silence, but his claws trembled as he gripped the table. "Where are they?" he demanded. "Find them. Scan everything." The scans showed nothing but static, and on Earth, deep beneath the surface, the truth stirred. Hidden bunkers lit up with power. Machines buried for generations hummed to life. Energy flowed through underground tunnels, reaching toward the skies. A group of human leaders watched from a control room, their faces lit by glowing screens. Among them stood the same soldier who had spoken to the aliens before. He did not smile, but his voice was steady. "They think we are weak," he said. "They see only what we let them see. They do not know what we built in silence, while they watched from afar. Let them laugh. When the time comes, they will choke on that laughter." The officer at his side whispered, "The system is stable. The shield is ready." The soldier nodded. "Then activate it." Above the Earth, the sky burned white. A vast field of energy unfolded like a curtain, wrapping the planet in a glow that no alien sensor could penetrate. The shield did not match alien technology. It was different, older, and stranger. On the flagship, the officers froze as their screens went black. The image of Earth vanished from their sensors. One by one, their systems shut down, unable to read anything through the shield. The commander snarled. "Impossible! No primitive world could create this." But the younger officer whispered, almost to himself, unless it was not primitive at all. He remembered the histories he had read. Stories of humans surviving disasters, rebuilding cities, discovering science again and again. Maybe their weakness was a mask. Maybe they had been preparing for this very day, not for years, but for centuries. The commander refused to believe it. He ordered his remaining ships to fire blindly at the shield. Energy beams slammed against the glowing barrier, shaking the skies. Yet the shield did not break. Instead, the energy vanished into it, absorbed like water into the sand. And then Earth answered. From the hidden bunkers, weapons launched into the sky, small, silent, and almost invisible. They were not massive cruisers, not shining fleets, but something stranger. They moved faster than alien eyes could follow. They struck not with fire, but with precision. One alien ship after another flickered and fell, not exploding, but simply shutting down. As if their power had been stolen, the command chamber filled with horror. Officers screamed reports. "Ship 3 offline. Ship 5 gone. Systems failing." The commander shouted in fury, but his voice was drowned by the chaos. The younger officer stood still, staring at the shield around Earth. He felt a chill, deeper than fear. This was not just defense. This was strategy. Humanity had let itself appear weak for so long that the galaxy believed the lie. And now, when the enemy came close enough, the trap was sprung. Back on Earth, the soldier's voice returned to the alien broadcast. Calm, cold, unshaken. "You call us weak. You call us defenseless. That is what we wanted you to think. For years, for decades, for centuries, we watched you. We learned from you. And while you mocked us, we prepared. Now you see the truth." The screen went dark. In the flagship, silence followed. The laughter that once filled the chamber was gone. All that remained was the heavy sound of fear. The commander finally spoke, his voice low and broken. This is not possible. They are only humans." The younger officer's eyes stayed fixed on Earth, glowing behind its shield. "No," he whispered. "They are not only humans. They are something else." And in the silence of space, the galaxy's great secret was revealed. Earth had never been defenseless. It had been waiting. The alien commander could no longer laugh. His sharp teeth stayed hidden as he stared at the dark screens in front of him. Earth was no longer a weak blue planet beneath his fleet. It was now a silent fortress, wrapped in a shield that his empire had never seen before. The officers whispered in fear, their voices sharp and broken. Some suggested retreat. Others begged to keep firing until the shield cracked. But the truth was clear. Their greatest weapons had been absorbed like raindrops against stone. And now, one after another, their mighty cruisers had vanished into nothing. The commander roared, his voice shaking the chamber. "We are the Empire. We do not run. We will destroy them." But even as he spoke, another red light flashed. Another cruiser was gone. No warning. No explosion. Only silence where a ship had once been. The younger officer stepped forward, his voice low and steady. "Commander, every attack fails. They are not fighting with size. They are fighting with knowledge. They know us better than we know them." The commander glared, but he could not deny the truth. Far below, on Earth, the humans were calm. Their leaders stood in a circle deep inside the hidden bunker. The soldier who had spoken before now leaned over the control table. His voice carried no fear. "They underestimated us. They always would. The galaxy sees Earth as weak, so we made weakness our mask. While they mocked, we studied. While they ruled, we prepared. And now the mask is broken. Orders spread quickly. Hidden launch bays opened under oceans, under deserts, under mountains. Small ships rose from the shadows, nothing like the massive alien cruisers, but fast, sharp, and built with precision. One by one, the ships darted into space, guided not by brute force, but by human strategy. They moved like hunters, weaving through the storms, cutting through the dark. The aliens tried to lock on, but their systems froze. The human crafts moved too strangely, their patterns unpredictable. They attacked not with heavy beams, but with focused strikes. Their weapons did not destroy ships outright. They infected them, shutting down power, silencing engines, leaving massive vessels drifting helpless in orbit. In the command chamber, alarms screamed. Officers shouted reports. Cruiser 9 disabled. Cruiser 11 unresponsive. Half the fleet paralyzed. The commander's claws dug into the table until sparks flew. He refused to believe what his eyes showed him. This is not possible. They are ants. Ants cannot strike lions. But still the red lights flashed. Another cruiser disabled. Another silenced. The Empire's pride, its mighty fleet, was being stripped piece by piece. The younger officer's eyes stayed on the screens. His voice was quiet but heavy. Commander, lions do not fear ants, but even lions fall when ants attack with purpose. The commander roared in fury, but deep inside, he felt the cold weight of defeat. On Earth, the soldier's voice returned to the broadcast. His face was hard, his words sharp. You came to test us. You came to mock us. But this is not your battlefield, it is ours. Every inch of this planet, every shadow of this sky belongs to us. You thought we were prey, but you have stepped into the hunter's den. The aliens tried one final attack. Their flagship unleashed its full arsenal, beams of fire crashing against the shield. For a moment the sky blazed brighter than the sun, but the shield did not fall. Instead, it pulsed, feeding on the energy. Glowing stronger, then with a single command, Earth struck back. From the shield itself, a wave of force surged outward, invisible to alien eyes, but deadly to their ships. Systems collapsed, engines froze, weapons went dark. The Empire's fleet, once the terror of the stars, now hung silent above a planet they had called defenseless. In the command chamber, silence replaced chaos. Officers stared at one another, their scales pale with fear. The commander sank into his seat, claws trembling. His voice was broken, no longer filled with pride. What are they? He whispered. What are these humans? The younger officer answered without hesitation. His eyes were fixed on Earth, glowing strong behind its shield. They are survivors. They are fighters. They are the ones the galaxy never understood. And now, they are the power you feared would never rise. Back on Earth, the soldier gave his final words. Tell your empire what you saw here. Tell them Earth is not defenseless. Tell them we do not bow. And tell them this, if they return, we will be ready. The broadcast ended. The skies went quiet. The alien fleet drifted broken and silent, like a warning carved into the stars. And for the first time in history, the galaxy would learn the truth. Humanity had been underestimated for the last time. The galaxy learns the truth. The alien fleet drifted in silence. Where once their ships burned with pride and firepower, now they floated like empty shells. Engines cold, weapons quiet, crews broken. Above the blue planet they had mocked, they looked less like conquerors and more like ghosts. Inside the flagship, no laughter remained. The commander, who had once spoken of Earth as prey, sat slumped in his chair. His claws trembled against the armrest, his voice reduced to a whisper. All my ships, all my power, taken by humans. The younger officer stood tall, but his face carried no triumph, only awe and a touch of fear. They are not what we thought, Commander. They never were. The galaxy believed their weakness, but it was a mask. And we were the fools who tore that mask away. The commander raised his eyes, filled with disbelief. Why did no one conquer them before? Why did no one claim this world? The officer's voice was quiet. Because every empire that tried never returned. The words struck the chamber like a blade. Suddenly, the silence of Earth's history made sense. Its wars, its resilience, its stubborn survival. Humanity had been tested before, and every invader had vanished, erased from memory, leaving behind only whispers. Below, on Earth, the hidden bunkers slowly dimmed. The shield pulsed once more, then stabilized. The humans did not cheer. They did not shout their victory into the sky. Instead, they stood in silence, calm and steady, as if they had expected this all along. The soldier who had spoken for Earth turned to his people. His voice was low, but every word carried weight. They came to laugh. They came to conquer. Now they leave with fear. Let the galaxy remember this day. Earth is not a victim. Earth is not prey. We are watchers. We are fighters. And we will not be broken. Messages spread quickly. The alien survivors limped back across the stars, carrying stories that grew darker with every retelling. They spoke of a world that hid its strength beneath shadows, a world that devoured fleets without leaving wreckage, a world that waited in silence until the enemy came too close and then struck with precision no empire could resist. Whispers turned into fear. Across distant systems, rulers asked the same question. If Earth could do this to the Empire's fleet, what could it do to us? Soon, Earth's name traveled faster than any ship. Some called it the Silent Fortress. Others called it the Predator World. But most spoke a single truth: never underestimate humans. In the flagship, the commander gave his final order. Retreat. We will not return. Let Earth rot in its silence. Let others try if they dare. But the younger officer knew the truth. Earth would not rot. Earth was patient. Earth was waiting. And now, the galaxy would never forget the lesson. The humans themselves did not boast. They did not seek praise. They returned to their lives quietly, as though victory was routine. But deep in their bunkers, deep in their skies, their weapons stayed ready. Their shield remained alive. They had shown their power once, and they would not need to show it again unless challenged, for humans understood something the Empire never had. True power was not loud. True power was hidden, waiting, silent until the moment it was needed. In the shadows of space, the galaxy shifted. Empires whispered plans, but none dared point their fleets toward Earth. Some offered respect, some offered fear, and some quietly began to wonder, if this was Earth's hidden power today, what would it become tomorrow? The younger officer never forgot that final image. The blue planet, glowing strong behind its shield, a quiet predator among the stars. He carried the memory for the rest of his life, warning others of what he had seen. Most laughed, just as he once had. But when his voice grew sharp, when he said the words with fire in his eyes, silence always followed. They are not weak, he would say. They are not defenseless. They are humans. And they are the galaxy's greatest fear. And so the story spread, carved into legend, carried from world to world. No one laughed at Earth again. No one called it helpless, because everyone knew the truth now. The humans had revealed their hidden power, and the galaxy would never be the same.